Hello everybody, it's Don the AS Lifter. I just come in with an updated video today, and today on this trip here I wanted to talk about being your own advocate. I went and got an opportunity to come to the ACR, which is American College of Rheumatology, their national meeting, and got to meet some other AS warriors and work on something that I'm kind of proud of, and be a part of something I guess I should say I'm proud of, and just wanted to talk about some of the things I've learned. Especially on this journey and then on this trip as well. One of the major things I've learned is that, a lot of us, even though we think we're different, we really have a lot of the same similarities. We fight some of the same battles. We go through some of the same, complex things that's hard to explain. And with our disease being, a quote unquote invisible disease, it's hard to explain it to a person that doesn't understand. And this goes back into even when we're trying to get diagnosed or formally find out what's wrong with us, or even try to get treatment for AS. My personal experience and the experience I've gotten from talking to a lot of other people, that is the general practitioners, the hospitals, the ER doctors, they don't have enough experience with ankylosing spondylitis or spondylitis or any of the autoimmune diseases. They really don't have an understanding of what we go through, and it's not visible because, again, it's an invisible disease. It's hard to explain it to them, and most of the time, they look at us and think that we're crazy, or they just blow us off, and nothing ever gets done. So what I've kind of learned is as time goes on, is that talking to more and more warriors, is that we all are similar in a lot of ways. We fight the same battles, we go through the same struggles, we have the same issues, fatigue being an issue, which leads sometimes to depression or in the funk, and you don't want to do it, and then that leads to what? Immobility, which leads to stiffness, which leads to inflammation, which leads to pain. It's a vicious cycle that just keeps happening, and a lot of us keep falling for the trap. Some of the things I learned here is every rheumatologist I got to talk to, they all had the same consensus: is movement. Even if it's walking, moving, getting up, doing something. Don't let yourself become immobile, inactive. Once you become inactive and immobile, that's when it starts really affecting you. So one is become mobile, become moving, be active, live your life. Fight on. The next thing that I kind of learned is we talked a little bit about diet. And it was pretty interesting because, there's a lot of things up there about the low starch diet, the low gluten diet, and how these affect, people with AS and everything else. And, some of the doctors said, yeah, there's some correlation, but they can't really pinpoint, scientifically, how it relates to, but he said something that's positive and it makes much sense. If you eat better, you feel better. If you feel better, generally you become more active. Become more active, you can keep the disease at bay. So there are some positives to that. Maybe not necessarily a direct correlation, but there is some correlation as far as it does relate in some way, shape, or form. So one of the other things I kind of learned, I thought was pretty interesting, that methotrexate doesn't really do anything for AS. I thought that was kind of pretty interesting because I see so many people prescribed methotrexate. Some of the rheumatologists I talked to said that point blank, methotrexate does nothing for ankylosing spondylitis. It does for other forms of spondylitis, but not ankylosing spondylitis. So if you have AS out there, that may be something else to at least keep in the back of your head, that methotrexate doesn't really do anything for us. Another thing that I thought was pretty interesting is that there's a new, I'm currently on Humira, which is a TNF inhibitor, but there's a new IL-17 inhibitor, I believe. So there's a new type of medication they're coming out with, and there's also another type of biological, which is I think they said they're about 3 or 4 years out from, which is pill form. It's pill delivery versus injection. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if that's legitimate, 'cause I'm sure everybody out there's on biologicals, the shots are stupid. They suck. I hate shooting myself up. I'm sure everybody else out there is the same way. So I thought that was pretty interesting. One of the other things that struck me that I never knew before is that I learned is that the more overweight you are, the less likely biologicals will work for you. I did not know this. This was something that caught me kind of off guard because I had no idea that weight being overweight has a direct correlation to, the biological not working. So I thought that was pretty interesting because, again, I didn't think it worked that way. So, I've learned this and some other things which I really can't get into. I got to let that kind of come out in time. But I was pretty happy seeing and meeting some people from other countries. I met a delegate from the International Spondylitis Federation. I thought that was pretty neat. Our association, I thought that was pretty neat. I got to meet, people from all over the country here in the U.S. and then I met some people from outside the country. One of the rheumatologists I got to meet was from Germany, so I got to understand, how they're dealing with it in Europe and whatnot. But all in all, it was a very humbling experience. I was very happy I came. At first I was kind of a little bit thrown out there, like, I'm not a very medical guy. When it comes to terminology, I'm pretty straightforward and just an average person. But it's pretty neat that they took the time to try to explain and everything else. And I'm pretty happy with what I've got going on, what went on. And again, everybody, at the end of the day, all the stories are the same with, how you go through diagnosis and how you fight with the doctors to get the final diagnosis. Also, it's the same with people I hear that go to, the emergency room and they can't get diagnosed properly, or the doctors have no idea what's wrong with them. They send them on a wrong path. All I can say, people, is you got to educate yourself. We have this disease. We're living with it. We're fighting with it. There is no cure, but you have to be your own advocate. You have to be your own advocate. So at the end of the day, educate yourself, know what's going on with your body. Talk to other AS warriors to kind of, collaborate to make sure, it's not nothing that's thrown off of outside of the realm of the disease, and then educate yourself. Again, everybody, thank you for listening. Don, the AS Lifter. Just click that subscribe button at the bottom, or it's at the bottom of the corner. Subscribe to the channel. I'll try to do more videos as time goes on. Thank everybody if it's been loyal and listened to me for all these years, or for that past year. Again, look forward to some things next year, because I got some ideas in my head for next year. There's gonna be some great things coming. I got some great videos I'm gonna put out for y'all. Again, I'm on Instagram as Texas Markham, and I'm on Facebook as Don Markham, A Fitness Journey with Ankylosing Spondylitis. Good night, and fight on, warriors.